it's Moose, and thank you so much for joining me back here. I recently made a video on some tropes that I don't particularly enjoy. And while I'm cool with that, I don't mind talking about things that I don't particularly like sometimes. I wanted to make a video about some tropes that I do enjoy. That's not to say that just because a book uses these tropes that I automatically enjoy it. I just find that like a lot of the books that I enjoy use these tropes, or I think they can be done well. Of course, all tropes can be done well and all tropes can be done poorly, so I know that. But here are some tropes that I just find myself repeatedly enjoying. First one might be kind of controversial because I feel like a lot of people have kind of grown tired of this trope, but it is the chosen one trope. I actually don't mind this one. I feel like we all deep down inside kind of want to be special in some way, and as a reader who kind of puts herself in the position of the protagonist, whenever I'm reading like a chosen one trope, it just makes me feel empowered in a way. There are, like I say, a ton of these, and I feel like they are getting a little repetitive. It is becoming a very popular trope, especially in like YA fiction, but I enjoy a lot of books that have this trope, and I just kind of like the thought that there is this one person in the world of whatever book I'm reading that can help fix it. I would like to see the chosen one trope, and I don't think I've read a book kind of with this jive, but I would like to see this trope used in kind of the opposite reaction, whereas instead of becoming the hero, the chosen one kind of becomes the villain. That would be so good. Let me know if you know any books that uses this trope in that way. Or like you kind of anticipate that, oh, they're going to be a hero, and then like they don't. Ooh, that would be good. Let me know. Let me know if you've read any books like that. Second one again that I have might be a little controversial and overdone, but it is the love triangle. I don't hate this trope. I really don't. Of course, there's always going to be like the one that you kind of know or expect the protagonist to end up with, but I still think it's kind of fun to choose sides and kind of, again, as a reader who puts herself in the situation of the characters that she's reading, I kind of like to try to figure out which one I would choose, because it's not always the one that the protagonist chooses in my experience. Sometimes I just don't jive with the most popular candidate, or whatever you want to call it. Again, this trope can definitely be done poorly, and I know it's overdone, but I personally kind of enjoy it. Next trope that I like is the reluctant hero. I like it whenever the hero isn't kind of set on being the hero, they're just kind of forced into it. This trope is often paired with a bunch of other kinds of tropes, but this one just in particular, I like it whenever the hero isn't kind of, how do I put it? Confident, cocky, entitled, like that kind of stuff. I like kind of a meek, humble hero who kind of does it because they know what's right, and they kind of just are forced into it. I like that. The next one is kind of more obscure. I'll be honest, I looked up some tropes like online and stuff to figure out what I liked and what I don't like. And this one's kind of obscure, but it's the waiting evil. So in a lot of books, there's just this overhanging prominent darkness that is kind of alluded to throughout the story or throughout the series or whatever. And it's just kind of always there, just kind of waiting in the background. A good one for this that I kind of think of is Lord of the Rings. You know, Frodo and his, not team, I don't know what you would call them, friends. Frodo and his friends are out on this quest, and of course they meet, what are they, the Wraiths and stuff like that. So they meet antagonists head on, but at the same time the larger, more overpowering evil is just kind of waiting in the background. I like that kind of thing. Or even in Harry Potter, up until like book 4, Voldemort is just kind of in the background for a lot of things, and then he shows up for a little bit at the end, but in a lot of circumstances, in a lot of cases throughout that series, he's just kind of waiting and biding his time, and just kind of this overhanging presence that everyone feels but isn't actually present in that moment. You know what I'm saying? I like that. My next one is friends to lovers. A lot of tropes that I like, or just talk about in general are romance tropes, and it's because I like romance embedded into my stories. So yes, friends to lovers, excellent. I think honestly I like this one so much because it's applicable to my life. My husband and I were friends before we started dating and seeing each other. So I like seeing that connection in the stories that I read. I think that's why I like Jim and Pam's relationship so well in The Office. I know that's not a book, but it's a great example of this too. So yeah, friends to lovers is excellent. Right next to that, enemies to lovers, I think is potentially even better in terms of my enjoyment in a book. Give me two characters who are kind of snarky with each other and then eventually like discover like, I like that this person is snarky with me. I like that they kind of push back against my stubbornness, or whatever it is. It's usually stubbornness. I like that. Again, who doesn't love a good enemies to lovers trope? I feel like most people do. Let's just go ahead and get some of these romance tropes out of the way. Close proximity, forced close proximity. We'll call it that. Wherein two characters who aren't together yet are forced to be close, usually in like a sleep setting. Maybe they go to a hotel and there's only one bed in the hotel or inn or whatever it is. It's usually like an inn in the stories that I read. Maybe they're in like a heated moment, not in terms of like romance, but in terms of like danger, like they're in danger and they're forced to hide in this close proximity place together, and then like the sparks start flying and they're like, wow, like I'm really close to this person right now. I love it. It's not a trope that like arcs across a whole story usually. It's usually just like a section of it, but I like it every time. Another romance trope is the off-limits romance, wherein two characters are not supposed to be together, but they want to be together anyways. When it comes to this, I really like the bodyguard protector wants to be with the person they're protecting trope. A good example that I have for this is the Trill series by Amanda Hawking, which I haven't read since I was like a freshman in high school, but I do remember this trope being very prominent and an important part of the story in the beginning. So yeah, I like the off-limits romance trope because ultimately they kind of just ignore it anyways. That's usually how it happens. Sure, they're not supposed to be together, but they end up being together anyways, right? Even if they're not supposed to. Excellent. I have two more I want to talk about. One is the Broody Male. I know this one is getting some flack right now. And let me just say, when I say broody, I don't mean abusive or controlling. And I think that's where people are kind of running into some problems with this trope, and I completely get it. I don't like it when a person is controlling or abusive. I don't like that. But give me a character who doesn't want to open up, who is just kind of grouchy all the time, and then softens for the one person, usually the protagonist, right? I like that. I like the broody male protagonist, the broody male romance interest, I guess, who is only soft for his one girl. You know what I'm saying? I like that. Last one I want to talk about is kind of, I don't know if I would call it a trope, but it's something that I just enjoy, and it's royalty. I like stories with royalty. Royalty. My accent's coming out, I guess. Yeah, I like reading about kings and queens and princes and princesses and different kingdoms and all that kind of stuff. I'm for it. I like it. Especially if there's some romance involved. Ooh, give me some royalty with some off-limits romance. Maybe the broody male intertwined as well. Put them all together. Great story. So there we go. Those are some tropes that I just enjoy in general, whether it be books or movies. I made this list specifically thinking of books, but of course I like them in shows and movies and stuff as well. And of course there are more than this that I enjoy. I just figured that this was enough for one video. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, be sure to subscribe down below and leave a comment. Let me know down below, do you like any of these tropes? Do you dislike any of these tropes? I totally get it. Like I say, some of these that I like, I know are overdone at this point. I know a lot of people are kind of over them, but I still like them. I still find enjoyment in them. If you have a different one that you really enjoy, let me know down below. Maybe I can start another list so I can do this video again with a different list of tropes that I like. Because again, of course there are more that I like than this, but let me know some of your favorites down below. You guys are awesome. I am so thankful for you. And we'll be back here next time, guys. See ya!